What's up, you guys? This is Donetta, aka D.E. Williams, and of course, I am here to chew bubblegum and talk ish. And I'm coming at with a very short review of the latest comedy drama that I've watched on Netflix. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of it. I actually didn't hear of it until I was scrolling through Netflix trying to find something to watch. And as I was scrolling through, going through my options, I came across Dumb Money. And I read the description, the information or whatever, and I was like, okay, why not? So I'll go ahead and watch this film. And lo and behold, this is the same movie that is based on that big hype situation that went down with Wall Street and GameStop. So I was like, I don't know too much about Wall Street or stock exchange. I've had stock. I got, stock. Through my company, like an employer is, provided stock plan like that, for retirement. But I'm not really good or, familiar with actual stock plans and getting into the stock market. However, this is the same GameStop situation that I could have probably made a couple of $1,000s on if I wouldn't have ignored all of the emails that I was getting from my Reddit group. And sometimes when I get the emails from the Reddit group, I just, I don't really look at them as much. But that really messed me up because then when they said, like, people had made, thousands of dollars on this, even just making a couple of hundred, I would have been like, what? And knowing me, I would have sold like immediately. As soon as I made it like a couple of thousand, I would have been out. So I would have been one of those lucky winners that would have been out of it, sold it before it went, whatever. So I would have made so much money. I'm still so mad about that situation. Oh my God. So overall, when I started watching the movie, again, you get a certain adrenaline rush or a rush of adrenaline when you're watching movies like this, like The Wolf of Wall Street or whatever. And even though you don't have that much education or you're not familiar with, stock exchange and all of that, you become so invested in films like this. And you do, of course, in a movie, you're always going to generally root for the underdog, right? I'm not definitely going to root for the bigwigs, the wealthy, the corporate people who don't want to see even the little people come up, which is so strange to me. But that's what this movie was about. They really did not think that the little people were going to make this, dramatic, this dramatic entrance into the Wall Street world. And so in this particular movie, let me read because I can't remember everything. And I know somebody compared it to the David versus Goliath tale, and it's based on a true story. I just don't know how true as far as the characters that were in the movie, when they gave you like the little snippets of the characters, like were they based on actual real people that they got stories from, based on interviews or anything like that. I really don't know. I did not Google it to find out. The main guy is Paul Dano. And I'm thinking that that's, and the character that he plays is Keith Gill, because I don't know these actors. Okay. I really don't. I've seen Shailene Woodley. I think that's her. Now I'm looking at the character's name, so I'm familiar. Okay. So, and Shailene Woodley plays, Paul Dano, Keith Gill's spouse in this movie. And you got Seth Rogen. He's one of the big wigs who have all this stock. And you have America Ferrera and you have Pete Davidson. So this movie came out in 2023. I don't know. I mean, it states that it's an American biographical comedy drama. So based on what is happening in the movie, we can pretty much say that it was kind of like realistic to what actually happened. But then when I was going through and reading some reviews that are on Google, or it could be, how when you go in here and you pull up the reviews or whatever, they could be pulling from Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. You have a lot of people who was giving it like 1 star or whatever. Like one guy, he gave us this long behind review of why it wasn't good because they didn't really tell the true story of what was happening, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this movie, regardless if it's like a considered to be a biographical concept of what happened in real life, it has to be written for entertainment. We're not trying to look at, I mean, because everything that he put in there is like he was you could tell he was upset. So maybe he's somebody that lost money in this situation. I don't know. But he was very upset. So go and like read those reviews, man. I like to read the reviews because these people be like so on it. You know, they're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid to write these reviews on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes. And these people be lit. Okay, they be serious. They are serious about their review on these movies or TV shows or whatever. So, and this dude was very upset. But, you know, as far as watching the movie overall, you know, watching Dumb Money, again, like I said, it gives you like this adrenaline rush. You wanted to see the underdogs literally come out on top. And, you know, I'm nervous through the whole thing, watching the movie, because it's like, oh my God, should you sell? Should you pull out? And everybody's watching this particular guy, Keith Gill, and they're like, they're waiting on him to see what he's going to do before they even do anything. And then, you know, and this is when the people start realizing, okay, this is serious. This is more serious than we thought. Then you have Robinhood, which I signed up for Robinhood, and I only got like $5, and I haven't put it towards anything. It's just sitting in there. But I heard some not so good things about Robinhood, so I still kept my little $5 in there, and maybe I'll put more in there. I don't know, or maybe I may use somebody else. I do also listen, and I have the Nerd Wallet notifications coming through. But again, I always be ignoring things because I got the Reddit group notifications, and I could have. So whatever. But anyways, the characters were okay. You know, it was like, to me, it was like light humor. I wasn't like, ha, 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 laughing, you know, while I'm watching the movie. You know, when you're watching something, it can be humorous and you can be smiling, you know, and it's lighthearted humor. You know, it was nothing for me to be like, you know, laugh out loud about. Pete Davidson character, which played Kevin Gill, which is Keith Gill's brother, he was all right. I'm not really, you know, people be talking about Pete Davidson. It's like, I guess. I don't think that he adds much more to the film. I don't know, whatever. And I feel like anybody could have played that part like that. You know how usually when you have somebody playing the part, oh, this guy is playing the part, so it's going to be this big, or they're going to take this character and do so much with it. It's like, man, whatever. So, I mean, overall, the movie is definitely about the GameStop and the Wall Street situation. And the characters were okay and believable. I mean, we get a little taste of Keith Gill's family life and how, I guess, he started out being on this YouTube Reddit situation or whatever. And then as everything starts taking hold and people start actually listening and they come in, it becomes a movement, and we actually getting to see that transform. So that's what makes it, you know, fun to watch, where you have this adrenaline rush. And so I'm not sure what the other guy was talking about, because if you didn't really was there and you're just watching this for pure entertainment, that is all the movie is providing to you. It's just entertainment. If you want something lighthearted, humorous to watch, that you get involved with the characters and you want to see the underdogs or see how it plays out. If the underdogs, you know, start winning some money or not, how the big wigs start taking over, how the politics of it starts to play in to, you know, what's happening in Wall Street, it becomes like this huge thing, and it then becomes the movement, and everybody knows about it. You remember that GameStop situation? So it's going to go down in history for many, many, many years in regards to that. So it's an okay film to watch. It was entertaining enough to keep me interested and keep me watching the movie to see, you know, who's going to win, who's going to lose their money. And that whole scene where they go, when they wake up and they go in and they looking, you know, at their Robinhood accounts and they can't do anything. It's like literally like blacked out. They can't sell. They can't do anything. And you're like, I would have been like, I would have had so much anxiety, especially if I wasn't able to pull out when I needed to, or if I didn't do it, you know, like, America, her particular, situation, she lost money, because she wasn't able to, pull out in time or whatever. But I really, I wish I would have been able to do it. I'm still thinking about it because as soon as I read it and it was like the GameStop story, and I'm like, oh, that time I could have made a couple of $1,000. Yeah. So, but overall, I mean, it's a fun watch. Again, it's not, I don't know, looking at the reviews and seeing how people become so upset about it. It's like a 3.7 overall here, 84% Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.9 out of a 10 on IMDb. Metacritic gives it like 66%. So you have a lot of people who feel like they liked it. You have one guy who's stating that it was cleverly quite brilliant. And then you have people who are like totally against it. One person was like, it is really a 0 star. Don't watch it if you are reliving the nightmare of how hedge funds and brokerage steal from the rest of us. See? I mean, that's like taking it like so serious. And maybe people do take this, like really serious, like this guy. But it's a movie. And yes, it's based on true events, but it's entertaining to watch, especially to see what actually happened and kind of like go with the flow of everything, how it started, because everybody heard about it. And then we saw, we heard about it and saw it happen. And people were like, what? And you can go back into the Reddit groups and try to read and catch up. But come on. So this movie pretty much puts you into position where you get to sit back and go with the flow as every step in that GameStop story or that movement actually happens. So like this guy was like, if you don't want to relive the nightmare, nobody's trying to take this movie that serious. Okay. So it's just entertaining enough to watch where, I don't get into like cinematography and all of that and comparing it to other movies. A lot of people was comparing it to another, I guess they didn't compare it to Wolf of Wall Street. They compared it to another movie, I guess, in relation to Wall Street or whatever. But I just think that this was just to get people to see how it started and then how it ended. And you do get to see how the big wigs and the hedge funds and how politics play a big role in determining how you make it out on top in the Wall Street, in the stock market. So it's wild. But I mean, it's entertaining to watch. So if you want to watch it, I would say watch it. Well, not, it wasn't like, oh my God, this movie is so horrible. It's entertaining enough to watch it. I wouldn't tell people not to watch it. But if you have watched it and you thought it was entertaining enough or interesting enough to continue to watch it and be like, okay, yeah, it was all right. It was all right, like that. Then go ahead and